What do you want today? ¿Qué quieres hoy? Are you considering it? ¿Estás considerándolo? ¿Qué quieres hoy? Lo que yo quiero es preguntar qué es lo que quieres. That's what I want. I want to ask you what you want. That's what I want to do. See, it's very simple.
Come on, you're running this meeting. Have an agenda. You know, go through the line items. I just want to know: is everything not well right now?
It turns out that this question is the solution to everything. Es muy simple. Esa pregunta resuelve todo. Todo. Absolutamente todo. Oh, I want to, I was speaking with my sister this morning and we had a difference of opinion. And so obviously she wants something different from what I want. From what I understand, her wanting was to some situational. Well, the situation has to be like this or like that. I just want to be happy. I don't care. Situation will always be like this or like that. We can do our best, but it's going to do whatever it wants to do. So to focus on the outcome, in my opinion, is a misguided view. So knowing what I want in every moment, the only possible answer is to be at peace, to be happy. Cuando estaba hablando con mi hermano esta mañana, teníamos una diferencia de opiniones respecto a una situación. Y lo que yo entendí es que ella se está enfocando en la resolución de la situación, hacer una cosa u otra. Y basado en eso, estar bien. Pero mi interés es, ¿qué es lo que yo quiero? Es estar tranquilo, que esté todo bien, hasta el punto que yo pueda influirlo, claro. Porque las situaciones difícilmente se pueden controlar. Entonces lo que yo quiero es estar bien, estar contento, estar tranquilo, estar en paz. Any other wanting is going to be resulting in complicated dependencies, because obviously we don't control the universe yet. So it's a simple question. Another way to put it is, well, what I want is to be, knowing that I have a tendency to be trapped in situations, I want to be free from that dependency on situations. So that's another way to put it. Or I want to see really, do the situations have anything to do with me? I mean, in some way, personally, sure, that person or that person, I know them, they know me. So to some extent, we are codependent. But what is the greater view, the impartial view of it? So you see what I mean? This question, when it quickly kind of prunes that tree of misery until you go to you eventually get to the big trunk and then you just chop it down. To be thinking that a situation, well, I can do like this, I can do that, what if I did, blah, 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 then you're just chopping the little branches here and there, or like plucking a flower or seeing a big fruit and throwing it away, but sure, they're just going to grow back. So that is a more cognitive context. Here, the energetic aspect of it is, well, in your experience right now, is the energy flowing well? Is everything smooth and even? Or is there some big block of something somewhere? En este momento, eso es un aspecto, una descripción cognitiva de lo que uno quiere, pero el aspecto energético puede ser distinto. En mi experiencia en este momento está todo fluido y es agradable, neutro, abierto, o hay cualquier tipo de constricción o intensidad. Only you know what you want right now. Solo tú sabes lo que quieres saber. You see, it's like it's so ordinary. When I'm speaking with you, and I reveal some kind of apparently personal truth about myself. Actually, it's totally impersonal. My sister is not somebody else. It's you. It's me. Mi hermana no es otra persona. Es tú, soy yo. Por eso hablar de cosas que aparentan ser personales es completamente impersonal. So it's the same here. Whatever situation that may be within your experience is completely impersonal. Holding on to it is like, oh, this is my precious little personal sphere of whatever. It's just going back to that tree with the big fruits that are hanging there. It's like, delicious, until it becomes really bitter, and you're going to end up throwing up, you see. El aferrarse a una situación personal de una manera como atesorarla es como cultivar ese árbol de las frutas amargas y esperar a que se maduren y coger una fruta, masticarla, morderla y resulta que está muy amarga. Es la amargura de la situación personal.
Well, I felt like it was what you said where, yeah, I would like to be happy and not, regardless if other people are not happy with me. But without it being the, yeah, I feel like there's a way to do that where it's very cut off. So without being cut off.
What do you mean?
Like without disconnecting from my experience to allow for it all, I would say.
Yes, and so while we are speaking with ourselves, really, what is it actually the experience of saying what we are saying, of considering what we are considering, of imagining what we are imagining? So it's a really direct, actual, instant resolution. It doesn't take, oh, it's going to take 10 years, it's going to take 20 years. Well, what if this or that? You know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You see what I mean? Like, what is the actual result as you say this right now? Like when I was sharing this apparently personal situation with my sister, it's so absurd that it makes me laugh. It is absurd. And the world is full of absurdity, and everybody wants to get really involved with the absurdity and say, is this real? So everybody wants us to agree with them into their own sense of separation, so that the sense of separation can continue to multiply and grow and make the tree even stronger. It's like a huge trunk. So choosing otherwise may not appear to be easy. But what I understood, what is it, the experience of yourself being happy without dismissing or cutting yourself off? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, it feels very free when that happens. It's so funny because I was talking to my sister a couple days ago, and when I started the conversation, it felt very I'm not free. And then at some point I felt like, oh, I guess I made the choice that I didn't want to be miserable. And nothing changed, but I felt very happy and free, even though it wasn't, even though nothing had really changed. It was very light, felt very light.
Yeah. And what about right now, as you're considering it?
Yeah, I feel light. You can feel the same lightness.
Yes, so from this point of view, you can say, from the lightness, we want to actively, as long as we are willing and ready, seek discomfort. In other words, invite, oh, she said that, and I'm going to have to do this, and oh my God, you see, we want to invite that action to be here with us right now, right here, right now. You see, not to avoid it. No, later. Because the tree will always just get stronger, you see. So this here would be, this invitation would be the actual real practice of Qigong. Other ways to put it are saying like taking the bitter pill, or staying in front of unpleasantness. That's another way to put it. Or another way would be testing our resolve. How much do I really wish to be happy? The reason why we do it intentionally is because, of course, life and situations of life, they have their own inertia, and so they will continue in whatever direction they have been going until we make the choice. It can be really, really seductive to, oh, I'll just play along for now and see, it'll go fine. And then later, it doesn't. So what it really is just in our experience. Here we use the awareness of the body, obviously. There are other types of awareness, but it's more difficult to speak of them. We check out the awareness, the experience of the body, and determine if there is any intensity, any polarity in it. Because if there is a polarity, that means that the reference framework is active. The reference framework means for us, our culture, our family, our society, our greater the social relationships. That is the reference framework. For most people, the reference framework is just cultivating the tree of bitter fruits. Like almost 100%, actually. So anybody that speaks differently from that is seen as either insane or an outcast or just like a, you know, somebody who is not open to playing the game, you know, not playing with how it is. You're not really with what's going on, you know, you're outside of it, you're out of it. So, but we can experience it in our body, what that is like. We can consciously, intentionally stir up the reference framework. Oh, this situation, oh, that situation. And we can see when we invite it consciously, right here, right now, where it goes. And then you, who is aware, who is the space within which everything is showing up, then you can refer to your own spaciousness while simultaneously engaging, or not engaging, but reflecting on this content within you. Like it's just an energy that hitherto has been remaining locked in place by a belief, the belief in separation. The belief that some kind of personal resolution will result in anything other than suffering. Because that is the only result. How do we do our very best while simultaneously remaining impartial? Amidst a great deal of partiality in everybody else. Yes. In my experience, humor is one of the best ways.
Yeah, I just think I'll just go get in a tree. Go get in the ocean. That's how yeah. I was noticing when you were asking, what is our interest? What do we want? You know, it takes a while to settle in. So I'm settling in, and I see, you know, different energies. So it all becomes a question of energy. So as I'm sitting here, this energy, I have this one energy, you know, these characters. What do you call them? You have a term for them, objects or something? What do you call the different characters in ourselves? Whatever. So I have this one character. He's kind of a, you know, we'll call him the grumpy business dude. So the grumpy business dude is here. So then I start going through what we've worked on and say, okay, the grumpy business dude is here. Okay, I start relating to him. Start going, okay, I see you. Do you see me seeing you? Kind of thing, like you talk about, like we talk about. And just wait for a while to see if a relationship can start occurring with the grumpy business dude. And as I'm talking, even I'm starting to loosen up from that guy, that energy, which is when you say what I want is I want to be here and I want to be free, which is basically the same thing. So that would be the most simple, because reason, if you just look at like, you know, whatever, like the great whatever people who could reason, being here is the only, you know, reasonable, logical thing. There is no other thing that makes sense. So being here is being here and being free. And when I say free, I mean free. My mind, my body, heart, gut, nothing in that system is tangled up. Nothing in that system is holding attention, holding a disposition or state. So that's what I want. And the happiness, that may be too much for me. Maybe happiness is definitely a very big interest of mine. I mean, I had a big part of my life where it's like, no, you do your job. You know, you take care of your wife, you take care of your kids, you do your job, you put, you know, the total man, whatever, put a roof over the head, food on the table, blah, blah, blah. So I did the shit out of that. So now I'm interested in happy. Happy sounds nice. Right now, if you're asking what I want, happy and free.
Well, could it be that they are the same, one and the same?
Oh, they are the same. I'm just using two words for the same thing, just like if you say being here is the same as being happy. You know, there's no, it's giving words to a point, you know, to a place.
So then
of now.
Right now? Are you happy right now?
Yeah, I'm fairly, actually, as I sit here, fairly, well, let's not get excessive. I'm Scottish and Irish. I'll say I'm content. All right.
Well, but you see, what you just said, let's not be excessive. I'm Irish or whatever. No? So
you see how another
energy. Kind of limiting yourself right now as we speak, aren't you? In a sense.
Absolutely.
So if that's what you want, then that's what you get.
Mother piss. Oh, dude. You just had to go there. You just had to go there. You just had to be like, see, you're asleep. Thanks.
No, I didn't say
that. You may need to do the Spanish version of all that we just went through.
Yeah, that's going to be way too much.
You could say, Kurt has an idea he wants to be happy, but he doesn't really want to. There you go.
Okay, I will say that. Él me acaba de traducir lo que vamos a hacer. En resumen sería, él acaba de decir, yo digo que quiero ser feliz, pero en realidad no quiero ser feliz. Es lo que es. Básicamente, en resumen. Comienza a experimentar cuando me escuchas. ¿Sí? ¿Me puedes escuchar? Sí. En resumen, lo que acabo de decir es, I'm going to mute you because you can't hear otherwise. Sorry. En resumen, lo que acabo de decir es, Kurt dice que quiere ser feliz, pero en realidad no quiere. Porque cuando empieza a sentir lo que decimos felicidad sería, pues, simplemente ser, simplemente existir, basta. Y dice, sí, voy sintiendo más feliz, pero tengo un pasado X. Y ese pasado pues no me lo permite. Entonces digo, bueno, pues entonces eso es lo que tú quieres ahora. Quieres no ser completamente feliz. Y luego por eso se reía tanto. Por esa contradicción. But see, that's the beauty of the contradiction is that that's where the contradiction is just energy. It's a polarity that when we allow ourselves to fully experience it, it's just a sensation. And it has information attached to it that is, you know, like this or like that. And we have some kind of belief in that information. But it's just information, it's just energy. And you who is aware, you can see it right away. And in fact, we see that this is just a child's game, you know. At every moment, we are how we want to be. It doesn't matter, you know, if you look at anybody in your life that perhaps is not really interested in happiness as we define it here, they are completely happy within the sphere of their own life with whatever they're doing, even if it makes them miserable. They love it. Because everybody is consciousness. Everybody knows exactly what's going on at every moment, unless they have some kind of psychiatric deficiency in their brain or something. It's like it's not working for some reason. Pero todos lo sabemos. En todos instantes lo que está pasando. No hay ningún impedimento. Incluso gente que podemos conocer en nuestro ámbito que aparenta ser muy infeliz o sufre mucho, incluso ellos son felices con aquello que tienen en su vida. Dicen, sí, esto es terrible, es algo, no lo soporto más. Pero de hecho, ellos son muy felices, están muy contentos teniendo situaciones que ellos dicen, no soporto más. Todo el mundo, en cada momento, es exactamente lo que ellos quieren. Porque no existen las personas, existe solamente tú, la conciencia. I mean, it's so clear. Everybody that I've met in the last years, when they say, "Oh, what do you want?" "Oh, I want to be happy," and then we find a way for them to know that they are happy, that they exist. But then quickly they say, "Oh no," they won't recognize it consciously because that would be the end. But they'll find some way to say, "Well, no, this is not really for me," or "I'll never see them again," or "They'll never show up again." You see, because it's really easy to disrupt this unconsciousness. Really, it's not really unconsciousness. It's a choice to be the choice of separation. It's very easy to disrupt. It's not complicated at all. It's very simple. Maybe what is not so simple, it's not a matter of hard or easy. It's just a matter of choice. You don't really want to, like, oh, I have a river here, and there's all these people that they need a bath. I say, look, there's a river here. You can go and get a bath. They say, no, we don't want to go. It's too cold, or whatever. It's not the right weather, or we need to wait 20 years until the X star is aligned with another star. So it's not a matter of difficulty. It's a matter of choice. Either you want to or you don't. Lo quieres o no lo quieres. And there is no judgment at all, whether from one moment I want it and some other moment I don't want it. That's just how it is. So we need to let it play out.
I have a question.
Hello.
I have a question. So if I am feeling upset because the people don't want to get in the river, then that's like me choosing that I don't want it either.
You say I heard if I'm upset with the people who do not want to get in the river.
Yeah, like I'm like, get in the river. Yes, then it's me not wanting to get in the river.
Yes,
right?
that is like the choice of, again, choosing to be separate again. It's me versus you. Hey, Monique, you're dirty. Get in the river. You say, no, I don't want to. You're a bad person. Get in the river. You see, then there's this energy that shows up in me, and it creates a polarity. And the polarity within us is a sense of separation. There's something, oh, it was going to flow up or something, but I didn't let it flow up. I got tight in my chest, and it became really intense. And so that created a disruption of the energy flow. And the information was not able to be free, and to just, what it wants to do is be free. It's just like everything, all is well, whether you want to get in the river or not, it's fine. You're free, and that the choice to be free or not free it's irrelevant. Because why? Nobody cares. There's nobody to care. So if I am personally caring, well, she didn't want to get in the river. Well, something wrong with me. I couldn't convince her,
Yes.
And I heard it as, and I understand this, if you're like, oh, those people aren't getting in the river, that's the same as me not getting in the river. Because, or that's the same as me wanting to do something with somebody else is the same as I'm just in my own pattern.
So that you yourself can avoid getting in the river.
Huh?
So that you yourself can avoid getting into the river.
Exactly. That's the way I'm hearing it. So, and that's the way I'm experiencing it. So yeah, exactly. It's just a different technique that seems a little more high and mighty for not getting in the river.
Yeah, I think that's what happened when I was talking to my sisters. I was so mad she wasn't getting in the river. And finally I got her to get in the river. And I was happy, but I wasn't, but yeah, it wasn't really,
See, once you get in the river, you don't really care anymore. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
There's nobody there to care anymore. You are the river. And when you get in the river, you see everybody is in the river anyways. whether they want to or not, is irrelevant. I'm gonna have trouble now translating this because I already forgot where this all came from.
It just came from the idea of noticing that when you talk about just, get in the river, it's always there, everybody's always in it. Then having that one step back saying, well, I'm telling other people they should get in it, and that's my way of not getting in it. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. ¿Te has enterado de algo, Dolores? Bueno, no sé cómo, en realidad no sé cómo llegamos a hablar de esto, pero hablamos de una analogía de la infelicidad es de saber que hay un río que está fluyendo allí y es el río de la felicidad. Te metes en él y todos estos problemas se disuelven. Y podemos decir que la ignorancia es como estar sucio en el cuerpo, la ropa o lo que sea, y haber un montón de gente que está sucia y decirles, mira, hay un río, entra y te puedes lavar y te limpias. Y luego dicen, no, no queremos entrar. Entonces tú estás allí diciendo, mira, pero está el río allí, métete. Pero eso es el equivalente a tú misma no entrar al río. Porque una vez que entras al río tú misma, entonces los demás no existen. ¿De qué más da lo que hagan o lo que no hagan? ¿Ves? Entonces la ignorancia es a lo que en realidad iba, es que es una elección. Es una elección que los que eligen no hacerla, no entrar al río, pues no tienen otra elección más que no hacerla. Entonces no lo van a hacer. Pero si tú ya has entrado al río y te has lavado, o estás en el río lavándote, eso tampoco se puede decir que sea una elección así consciente, es tu destino. Tú acabaste en el río porque eso era lo único que tú podías hacer. Igual que aquellos que no entran al río no tienen elección, no pueden, porque no es su destino. Pero si tú aparentemente tienes esa elección, es tu destino, entonces debes hacerlo. Debes hacerlo y así, cuando ya te hayas lavado bien en el río, sales de él y vas por allí limpia y vas diciendo a la gente, sí, hay un río allí. Si tú vete allí si quieres. Entonces tú ya eres más imparcial. No estás, debes meter al río porque si no eres una mala persona, ¿ves?
Me gusta esta analogía, pero la veo que es muy fácil, ¿no? Pero la realidad, no, yo no.
Ya, pero la única realidad es a lo que íbamos. Si ahora yo estoy en el río, o si tú estás en el río, y si no estoy en el río, o si tú no estás en el río, ¿por qué? ¿Ves? Estás en el río lavándote de tus incertidumbres o tus sensaciones de separación o de tus polaridades o extremismos o lo que sea. O estás allí o no estás. Es lo único.
Sí, sí, sí. Sí.
Y aquí nos referimos a las experiencias del cuerpo, cómo se reflejan en la conciencia. Entonces no es una idea, no es una metafísica, no es una filosofía, es ipso facto.
Ya. Sí. Tú puedes sentir que hay energías que están bloqueando, por ejemplo.
Tú dices que hay energías bloqueando en este momento.
Bueno, cuando intentaba entender, me encontraba un poco bloqueada.
¿Pero ahora?
Ahora no, porque ahora ya.
Entonces. ahora no.
Bueno, sí, pero bueno, yo te hablo de hace unos momentos, también
Sí,
estás
pero
con gente.
sí,
Yo cuando estoy con gente, con amigos, no sé, me bloqueo fácilmente porque, no sé, es como si el otro día que hablábamos de este fantasma o este personaje, este personaje aparece muy a menudo, ¿no? Este personaje que me hace sentir como, bueno, como inferior, ¿no? Entonces, este personaje
invita
todavía
ahora, invita a ese personaje a que venga ahora, a
ahora,
que esté aquí
sí,
con nosotros.
sí,
A ver si puedes.
a ver si viene y hablamos y sí, ya está aquí.
Ah, qué bien. Bienvenido
Y,
sea.
sí, está y no pasa nada. Ya.
Dale bienvenida a todas sus dimensiones, dentro de lo posible, todas las dimensiones que tengas, ya sean mentales, de imágenes, de significados, energéticos, cómo se siente, experiencias del cuerpo, que hace así o hace así, lo que sea. Le damos la bienvenida para que sea reflejado con la mayor fidelidad posible ahorita. Está ahí.
Sí, 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 sí. Está ahí. Está ahí. Lo, lo acepto, lo siento como siempre cuando viene, ¿no? Que se pone como el dueño.
Ah,
Entonces, mm,
entonces,
entonces,
si no te enfocas en él, en ella, lo que sea, pero lo
sí,
ves desde tu propia conciencia del espacio, si no le permites que controle tus pensamientos, si tú eres libre de tus pensamientos, permítele que esté allí y que se vuelva solamente la experiencia de la energía. Se la queremos depurar y todas esas capas adicionales de estructuras de información,
sí,
significa esto, significa lo otro, no. Queremos resolverlo como un denominador común. Cuando estás resolviendo una ecuación matemática, la quieres simplificar hasta llegar al número único, ¿ves? A la solución. Y para eso tenemos que permitirnos experimentar estas energías dentro de nosotros,
vale,
sin
vale.
ningún tipo de control, sin ningún tipo de gestión.
Sí, es que sabes que yo me disperso porque estoy buscando la conciencia, ¿sabes? Para que lo controle o para
No, no,
que...
pero es que, ¿ves? Entonces estoy yo y estoy buscando y está aquello que quiero evitar. Entonces ya hay muchos, ¿ves?
Sí,
Pero
sí,
tú ya eres la conciencia, no tienes que buscar la conciencia, ¿ves?
ah,
Simplemente es encontrarla sabiéndote en tu generosidad, de tu espaciosidad, de tu apertura.
vale.
No, pero no quiero convencerte, quiero que experimentemos juntos la realidad de lo que es. Que tú no debes de hacer ningún esfuerzo porque tú ya eres la conciencia. Puede que haya aspectos o fragmentos que quieren convencerte de que no, escúchame a mí, no, escúchame a mí, no, escúchame a mí, mira por allí. Pero tú estás allí y tú lo puedes ver todo. No tienes que hacerles ningún caso. ¿Ves? ¿Cuál es la experiencia de permitirse experimentar la energía al nivel más puro? What is it like to allow right now to experience the pure welcoming of energy, information, whatever it is, in relation to anything that may have been in your experience until right now. ¿Cuál es su experiencia de simplemente permitir que esté allí sin tener que gestionar? Estoy yo y está aquella parte que debo mirar y luego tengo que buscar la conciencia. Because there's a rapid shifting of identity. Oh, I need to look for my own conscience. I need to find my own consciousness. And then when I find it, I will apply it to this. You see, but this is very complicated. You already are. You don't need to find yourself. You just directly, from your own nothingness. If you can know this, I am nothing, no thing, nothing. As long as there's a sense of being something, then that thing will be looking for some other thing to interact with yet another thing, to change that thing or make that thing less or more or whatever. But we want to go beyond all these things because there is no thing, nothing. And only then, when there is nothing, only then can we really attend to the pure energy that is manifesting right now. For you, who is aware of it, you are there. And if you can go beyond the lure of the dream that is trying to lull you into sleep through your mind, through the reference framework. No, listen to this, no, listen to that, it's green, it's purple, it's yellow, it's dangerous, it's great, it's terrible, all these different things. But it's just a movement. It's just a movement. The movement is a movement of energy. It's a polarity. So we want to bring everything into equilibrium. That's the original meaning of this mudra, equilibrium. And there's no coincidence that it's near your chest, here. You bring the opposites together, and then it's reconciled by your heart, not your mind. Never. It will always be like this. This is the movement of consciousness, like this. It's not this. It doesn't begin here and then descend. If it appears to begin here, it's coming from not. I'm just making a gesture. It doesn't really mean what I'm suggesting. It's just an expression. It will be. This is the equivalent of the Yuan Ti descending from, in the classical literature of the heavens, but we don't know what that means. Descending. And then meeting the Yin Qi, the Yin Qi, wanting to rise up. That's the troubles, like oh my God, it's coming up. See, but it's met. It's never met here. It's always met. This is just a passageway to here. You can take it any way you want. The yin, the yang, the yin. It doesn't matter. Left, right. The point is that there needs to be a reconciliation. Tiene que haber una reconciliación de los aparentemente opuestos. But we can experience it right now, not later, right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm not reconciling, but the reconciling happens. It's not like when you were talking about made me laugh because it's like tiring me out just listening to you say, I'm something and I'm going to get this other something to deal with this other something. And it's like, it just became such a hairball, inside myself when I'm listening to you, like, oh God, I know that. And that's, ugh. So when we get back to the reconciling happens. It's not something I go, oh, I'm going to reconcile. It's like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm unreconciled. And by that observation and awareness, reconciliation can happen here. It can enter the situation right now.
Yes.
Is that the way you see it?
Well,
that's
also,
the way I see it.
The way I would say it is like, it's not that I'm unreconciled. No, never. There is an unreconciled energy within my experience. I am not unreconciled. There is something in my experience that appears to be unreconciled. That's very different. You see, in the one option, I am the thing. In the other option, it is within me. So,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay.
Oh no, I was so trapped in all of the circumstances of the situation. And then when Dolores started talking, because I don't know what's being said, I'm paying more attention to how my body's feeling. And there's definitely that. It feels like, you know, there's this lower and something, and there's tension between the two, but not like a bad thing, just like there's a ball of not completely flowing evenly, you know, it's just not related right within my body. And I don't know, there's something so free and about not being in the circumstance of the river. You know, all the little pieces, because every single one of those pieces exist. And when I want to be unhappy, I can justify each of those. But this seems more right here, right now. And all of us as together.
Yes. Well, as you're seeing this now, is together, because every time that we meet, we create amongst this situation, you could say, a body of consciousness. You see, it is not special in any way, but by referring to it over and over in different ways, we nourish this body of consciousness. And so, since we are speaking of the yin and the yang and the balance and the reconciliation of apparent opposites, the place where it happens for most human beings is in the chest. If you notice right now, the space between your shoulder blades or in your chest, si eres consciente del espacio entre la escápula, los omóplatos de tu espalda o de tu pecho, allí es donde ocurre ese equilibrio de el yin y el yang. El yang siempre desciende. It always descends. And it descends in the experience of the body through the chest, and it just flows down. And in this flow, there is a nothing. It is not a something. We experience it as something, but actually it is nothing. And the more we understand what it is and recognize it and allow it, we know that it is not really actually a flow down. It's a flow that is impossible to register in terms of directions. But yet it is there. It is a flow. In the experience of the body, which is habituated to its own reference framework of gravity and the laws of physics and so on, naturally, well, it makes sense. It's going to descend. It's going to flow downward. So we can accept that. But it may also flow in other ways. The way that it is described in the classical literature is rightful chi descends. La energía magistral desciende. Esa es su experiencia, desciende. Esa energía se experimenta como una nada. Un nada. Y lo que hace es que la experiencia se vuelva uniforme y suave y libre de cualquier tipo de polaridad. So the river already, you are the river, and your body is like a horse that can go to the river and drink or not drink. Only you are the master of it. But only if you happen to be in this, let's say, turning of destiny right now. Destiny at this very millisecond, right now, it already passed. There's another one, and there's many, but there's a turning every single second, whether you, consciousness, is in the condition to allow for the experience of this flowing to happen within your physical body.
Were you saying turning? Turning. What do you mean? Okay, can you give me a little more feel for that, turning?
It's in the
No, just no.
It's an approximation. It's not really. It's like you could say like a development, like a happening, like a happening.
Right, because what I'm experiencing right now, when you talked about us here, we're creating, so to speak, a place. It's like three centers merge. As long as people do that, then there's that energy it doesn't exist unless people do that. So this energy right now with us doesn't exist unless we're present here. And I'm experiencing that right now is that just exactly that way. That
yes, well,
a presence here.
It is pre-existing. What is not pre-existing is our cultivation of its awareness. You see? We are cultivating it. That is the classical tradition. Everything is pre-existing. But we cultivate this turning of consciousness to, like, it's like somebody says, hey, and then you turn and say, hey, you see, you're turning. So it is like a response. Our gathering is a response. We turn towards whatever was already there. Somebody said, hey, and then I turn and say, hey, if we are just.
I love that example, by the way. I was enjoying the example of, hey.
Yes, actually, and if you think of it in the body, the listening, we are listening. We have to be, number one, we cultivate listening, which is awareness. Then, because we are always listening, somebody says, hey, maybe really, really quietly, but we hear it and then we turn and say, yes. We recognize it. So our activity is simply answering the call. Somebody said, hey, and then we are turning and say, yes, hey. But what you were saying before about the experience of some kind of practice, what I was referring to, there actually, it just came to mind, there is a word in Chinese, Hun Hua, merge and transform simultaneously. Hun Hua. It's literally means the turning of the spirit. It turns and it merges with itself, like when you see those yin yang symbols that they're turning, like this. But that's what the meaning is inside of our experience. It's turning and it's merging. But when somebody says, hey, and we turn, we become aware of this turning. It's not really, I'm just making that, I'm using the word turning. It's not really turning. You know what it is. Merge, transform. You know what that is already in your experience. Even right now. So we just fine tune our capacity to listen. Really, 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 really fine. Exquisitely fine. Until nothing else matters. Nothing.
And when you say listen, you're talking more like a global listening, like a tuning fork kind of listening, not a.
Yes.
You're not.
It's not a faculty of hearing necessarily.
Right. That's what I was connecting with.
Bien. Estamos aquí aplicando la facultad de la escucha, que no es una escucha auditiva.
Ya.
Entonces, ¿qué ha resultado de tu experiencia de dar la bienvenida a esa parte de ti que es inferior?
Bueno, pues siento más, me siento más, digamos, a mí misma. Por otra parte, esto de que la energía baja y sentirlo aquí ha sido como este contacto, ¿no? Este contacto con mi fuerza, ¿no? Pero por otra parte tengo la cabeza ahora que hay mucha energía, ¿sabes? Como siempre me pasa, cuando concentro con la energía, la cabeza está bum, 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 bum. Pero estoy más, digamos,
I have to leave. Thank you.
gracias. Como más abierta, más libre, digamos.
Y esa manifestación de la cabeza
Sí,
puede que sea un efecto secundario, donde en la tradición del Neng se llama una reacción a la práctica, que proviene de la conciencia haber vislumbrado su verdadera esencia, pero el ajuste energético del cuerpo no está todavía en sintonía con aquel nuevo vislumbre, por así decirlo. Entonces, esto probablemente se ha saltado esto.
sí.
Esto hay que traerlo aquí. Por eso no pertenece aquí, por eso es que se ha saltado así. Y brota.
Ya, pero y focalizo aquí, pero aquí está muy activo.
Pues tú conoces muchas prácticas del
Sí,
cine que están diseñadas para equilibrar esta sensación. Por ejemplo, en la práctica de los tres centros, lo que se busca es que las energías de todas las partes se vuelvan unificadas, unidas. Y cuando aquí está resolviendo esto, aquí está fuera de equilibrio, ¿ves? ¿Cómo traer esta energía más hacia el pecho, más hacia el vientre, el bien interior?
sí,
Puede ser tan simple como prestar atención exclusivamente al espacio del ombligo
al espacio de ombligo, sí.
o del pecho. O imaginarse que esto está disolviéndose en el espacio.
Vale, vale.
¿Ves?
Sí, sí. Esto me lleva un tiempo, porque
Pero incluso ahorita puede ocurrir.
sí,
En este instantemente. No tiene que haber ningún proceso.
no,
No,
ya.
no
Sí,
es
sí.
necesario.
Pero lo veo claro esto, que sí, que sí, sí se puede disolver en el espacio y fundirse todo.
¿Por qué no también eso?
¿Perdona?
¿Por qué también eso no?
¿Por qué?
Que
No.
esto también no puede disolverse
Sí,
ahora.
sí. parece que se ha disuelto un poco.
Sí.
Sí.
Es muy simple. El Neng es simplemente el cultivo de la intención.
Está. Sí, sí. Sí,
No hay,
sí.
no hay nada que lo impida. Es simplemente una idea perteneciente al marco de referencia.
Ya.
La idea de que no, es un proceso largo, va a tardar 20 años, es una idea.
Ahora ya lo veo. Ya.
Así.
Está mejor.
Sí. ¿Por qué? Porque tú lo quieres así, ya está.
Sí, porque yo lo quiero así. Y así. Pues ahora me voy a afirmar así. Que tiene que ser así siempre.
Muy bien.
Gracias.
A ti. She was saying, well, she was feeling whatever we were talking about and the moving, the turning, and then usually she gets a big reaction in her head. We were talking about different practices that are designed for that, but then the most important practice is simply to intend it. Oh no, this is fine. I'm going to be fine. And right away after we were speaking, and then it started to be fine. No problem. No practice. No this, no that. Our life always is based on through something, then something. Always. Some kind of process. But that is not Qigong. That is superstition. It's actually it's a complete reverse. I just intentionally said the complete opposite of what everybody would say. No, what you're saying is completely crazy. We need a process, you see. Qigong is the practice. You practice it and you do this, and then as a result of the practice, then you're like this. But that is a materialistic viewpoint, which affirms that actually life is meaningless, that consciousness is not real. El Qigong es la afirmación de que la conciencia es real y por tanto instantáneamente se manifiesta lo que tú quieres. No es el resultado de un proceso, no es 1 más 1 es 2, no. Eso es una superstición. Pero lo podemos comprobar una y otra vez simplemente poniéndolo en práctica.
Sí.
Lo cultivamos, o sea, cultivar significa hacer una cultura. Y en un encuentro es una cultura.
Sí.
I'm saying this not with any kind of grandiose thought about anything. But what we do here is we cultivate, we make our new culture. The new culture for your life, for my life, right now. It doesn't have to extend anywhere else. Right now.
Qué bien.
Todo lo que yo digo es todo en base a la enseñanza del Neng Qigong. Absolutamente todo. Yo no estoy inventando nada. Si estuviera aquí el doctor Pan diría, sí, es lo que tú dices, es cierto. Seguramente que saldría con algo mucho, incluso más interesante de lo que yo digo, pero básicamente diría que sí, es esto. Okay? See you next time.
See you next time. Gracias.
A vosotros.